Hello, it's Morris back here, and today is the first day of meta-analysis and team highlight for Axie Infinity Origins Season 2. So very exciting start for Season 2, and you already see that some teams are definitely doing pretty well. So note that now is the rare era, meaning you can only use rare charms and runes. And there are some strategies that are already pretty good, especially the Belieber Beast, that you can see quite a lot of beasts, and also a bit of AoE stuff as well. With Ronin is still very strong. You can see a lot of Ronin, a lot of beasts all around. Do get some bugs as well, which is quite interesting. But yeah, unfortunately, in a way, you'll see that it's mostly just beasts. And actually bird with the AoE. So I think that is probably the top at the moment, and it probably, I feel like, might stay that way just because people have a lot of time to theory craft, and okay, I won't say a lot of time, but there's really not that much in terms of the runes and charms in terms of interaction, because it's only the rare ones. So yeah, it's mostly, I would say, more about the pure power of the combination of the cards, I would say. Yeah, cards. And in this case, with the combination with the rune, which you'll see later, with the Belieber is just very strong, I think. So let me just scroll down and see what we see, but it's mostly about, you can see two main archetype, right? The AoE with the tri-feather and stuff like that, and also the basically beast Belieber. So I do get some aqua as well, which is good to see, right? And also Leafy team going up there. Interesting. Okay, this one I quite like, to be honest. Of course, now we don't have Leafy pot and stuff, so this one relies on the clover to get the leaves, and then yeah, so of course at the moment it is quite early, meaning there's just a lot of people haven't really played yet, and it's more about like how much you play. That gets you to the top. But I think now that with the matchmaking, right, it's actually not easy to continue to climb. Is because you face the same opponent over and over again, that kind of thing. So let's see. I think you just have to wait for the whole pack to come up, and then you can continue to climb. But regardless, I think yeah, that's the gist of the story is mostly beasts, and today we'll of course look at one that is at the top at the moment. And yeah, so here is the beast, and we'll see the runes and charms when we actually get into the games. But actually, it's interesting to see the battle log, is because it's actually getting quite hard to climb. Even at the top, you can see that it's quite a lot of it's half, I would say. Yeah, so you can see, right, once you get to here, and then it's pretty much half, and it couldn't really climb too much. And part of the reason, and you'll see, right, is that you're just facing the same opponent, right? So this one is like, I guess maybe AoE has a better matchup against this, I'm not sure. But right, so you can see playing the same opponent multiple times. Yeah, it's definitely not ideal. But that's how the matchmaking is as well, the moment. Alright, so you can see this is the same as this, and then it's really just facing the top opponents at this point, and you're just gonna fight them, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, that kind of thing. So at least there are multiple strategies that are viable on top, but ultimately it's then down to card draw. So let's actually jump into a game and see how it goes. Okay, let me just pause it here for now, and then let's look at the runes and charms. Yeah, pretty good teams, I would say, in terms of the matchup. You'll see that both are basically relying on the beast, but this one is more defensive with the bug, whereas this one is just full on offense. And you can see they're just using the same rune, because I think this combination is pretty OP, because basically it relies on two things, right? One is basically the Belieber, which is a card which says consumes up to 2 rage, and then deal 2 hits, and for each rage deals 50% bonus, meaning so without any rage it will do 60 because it deals 2 hits, but if it consumes 2 rage, then it actually deals 100 bonus damage, meaning it will be 1 cost 120, and without any setup, because the only setup you need is basically this this rune. So because this rune already gives you the start of the 2 rage, and so it makes it so much more consistent, because whenever you draw a Belieber, you can already play it with the bonus. Whereas for some other strategies like Leafy, right, so you have to set up the leaves first before you can get the bonus, whereas this one, the rune actually gives you. Sure, for the Leafy, there's also the, I guess, rune that gives you the leaves as well, but that's only 2, but this only requires 2, and that's why it basically gives you the full advantage. Yeah, actually, I will want to see that Leafy, probably people play the leaf version of this rune as well, and that could also be pretty good. But also because, well, the other reason why it's strong is that it has little piece, yeah, way of getting the rage, yeah, more way of getting rage, and then you'll see later as well. Let's just look at this. There are ways of gaining energy fragment and then healing. Actually, I feel like Cottontail is actually pretty strong still, because it does give you the energy and also heal you for quite a bit. So I think that's pretty strong. And of course Ronan as well, especially combination with Cottontail and Ronan. Once you get the 7 energy fragment, you do get to gain another extra energy, and then you play Ronan, it's going to be a lot of damage. Of course now I think the runes and charms still not, I guess the charms are still not optimized, but still you can see they have pretty good charm. And Tiny Dino, I think at this point is still like a hit or miss, in the sense that if you get it early, it's actually very good. It's one cost like 120 damage as well. And then Axie is also very strong. So I think, yeah, that's why the combination of all these is very strong. But it's mostly about this Way of Beast getting you 2 rages to start, and then the Belieber, yeah, it's just way too strong. But okay, let's just see how this plays out. But before that, let's just quickly look at the opponent's team as well. This one is a bit disruptive, I must say. Earwing is still actually very strong, I think. Wow, they're already getting all these charm. I guess you can buy them already on the market. Not too sure actually, but yeah. So, but still, like, getting all these is pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, getting all the steel energy as well. In this case, disrupting opponent's draw is also pretty good. Yeah, Deathmark is also good as well. And the rune, let's just see what it does. And it says gain shield. Yeah, so it's basically just gaining shield depending on how many cards you have in the draw pile and the discard pile. So a bit more defensive, so that you can allow the back to basically hit very hard. And it's basically the same, right? You can see it's basically the same Axie, maybe a bit different in terms of the charms, but effectively, yeah, it's just Ronan. Yeah, this one actually doesn't run Ronan, run card draw, but I guess for consistency, it's mostly because you do have quite a lot of 0 cost card as well. Yeah, so okay, let's just play it out and see how it goes. A very strong start with the vulnerable already, and yeah, I mean, you can see it's all Little P's, because Little P is still very OP at this point. And then let's just see. Okay, so just hitting. So opponent's actually pretty strong as well, right? You can see like that combo of this Belieber, Little P's Belieber with the rage stacks, dealing a lot of damage already, and the shield actually pretty good as well for the opponent. But yeah, now it's basically about who draws the best, and maybe because the opponent's team only has 2 Way of Beast as opposed to 3, so maybe that kind of hurts the opponent. But ultimately, to be fair, it's mostly about the card draw, I think, because like this, you know, gaining 38 shield for a rare rune is actually pretty good. But wow, you see, I think, yeah, this surviving, I think it was the determining factor. If this didn't survive, then couldn't get that off, it would have been might have been a loss for xxVila. So but yeah, you can see how, oh, this actually is not the best. I think it was a misplay as well, not too sure, but maybe they wanted to just get the yeah, I think that was tough, right? Because you have to hit into the front first so that you can get the vulnerable. Yeah, I think if the front actually went down, it's literally just 2 HP difference, right? Then this game could have been very different, I feel. But still, you know, quite close at this point. But you can, okay, this is the turn where you can see how strong this combo is, right? Yeah, it's just 100 and something damage because of the vulnerable and everything. And then the Cottontail healed so much, and then just a Ronan, and now it's pretty much over at this point. It's very hard to get back from this, especially if you're getting a lot of revenge cards. Yeah, so it's now basically, in a way, yeah, just like 1 turn difference now. Okay, so yeah, you can see how strong this combo is because of just the interactions with the rune and the card. So I feel like there might, I don't know, like maybe in the other eras, then Belieber would be a okay card, but in this era, I think it is probably too strong, just because the other Axie doesn't have the defensive tools that it needs. Whereas this one is just way too easy to set up, and it's very consistent as well because you already get it at the start. Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. And maybe the same could be said for other kind of setup card like Leafy, or maybe even try Spike or something. But try Spike needs a bit more to set up. So okay, so that is basically this game or this strategy. Let's actually look at another game and see how this one goes. Let's just pick one that maybe should I? Okay, let's look at ones against AoEs because we do want to see other kind of teams as well. Let's look at this one. Okay, let's pause it here and look at the opponent's team because this one is probably should be the same. I won't expect any difference. Yeah. Actually, this is pretty. Whoops! I think I wanted to press this one. Yeah, highlight this one. It actually couples pretty well with the Cottontail because you do get to use Cottontail earlier if you use this, I think. So I think that could be a pretty good combo. Of course, there are other ways in which you can gain energy even more efficiently as well, but it is what it is here. Okay, let's just look at the opponent's team. Way of Bird, okay, so this is also very strong because you already get the feather, so meaning you already start with, can stack the feather stack or the feather damage bonus, so I think that's pretty good. So this is more like AoE, try feather, Grandma's Fan getting you or ensuring you that the feather is still there, which is pretty good. I mean, Little Owl doesn't really quite fit in, to be honest, but I guess it's just like with these are the 3 cards, and I will say the 4th one is Death Mark. I think Death Mark's also very strong. Yeah, and the rest is just there, I feel. Let's just see this one. Okay, just losing leftover potion, but yeah, Robin. Okay, so this is another combo, right? Is that you play Robin, and what Robin does is that whenever you deal a hit, then it increases its damage, and when Robin dies, it will do an AoE damage. So it couples very well with this kind of thing, because let's say if you do Grandma's Friend, it's 3 hits already. It's same for Tri-Feather and Earwings, so it basically scales very well. So Robin will ramp up pretty quickly, especially at this era where opponents might not be that easily be able to deal with Robin after the first turn. Then it actually the damage stacks up quite a lot. Pokey as well, DN2 hits again, couples quite well with this. Innocent Lamb with, so again, Cottontail is still very strong now just because it actually gives you extra energy, and yeah, it's just out tempoing the opponent, so you can see it's mostly about aggro. Yep, similar Way of Bird stacking up, and I think this can actually get to pretty highly feather I guess, well, I was gonna say feather stack, but like the bonus damage stack, just because it's at the back and it's just dealing a lot of AoE. This one as well, it couples very well with the Cottontail, like getting 2 energy fragments usually if you hit 2 different opponents. Yeah, and just a lot of multi-attack card, a multi-hit card, which is going to be very strong. Okay, so let's just see. So now, okay, putting the Rage at the back, which is good because then this is most likely to get extra turns to play maybe the Belieber twice. Okay, let's just see how this goes. Oh, okay. And so already setting up the Robin, you can see right already at 12 in terms of damage. Yeah. So let's just see. Okay, it's still not a pretty strong turn, I would say still. Right, using one already, and then like the front Axie is probably already going down very soon at this point. So I think well, xxVila is actually not bad. Yeah, but the Dispel actually hurts this quite a bit. Yeah, so I think for Way of Beast, that kind of thing, Dispel is gonna be tough. Okay, so, well, you can see, right, Robin next turn is going to do so much damage because of the 36 damage. Even though getting rid of the front, but there's no way of getting to the Robin, and now and more AoEs is going to ramp this so much, right? That's why I think Robin is very OP in this kind of build. Okay, it's not, unfortunately don't have that many AoE, but yeah, so, but still, this one is another AoE 52 already across the board. and now can use Cottontail, do another damage, and that's gonna be gone for the front, and 64 across the board, even though the front kind of already is gone. Oh, so that's just for the heal as well. Oh my goodness, yeah, the heal for the Robin. Wow, I didn't expect that, but yes. Yeah, this is gonna ramp up to basically 1 energy, deal like, don't know, 100 something damage at this point. Yeah, so now they have to hit into the Robin in order to get through. And yeah, you can see, right, so much damage across the board. But still quite close game at this point. But you can see, right, it's now at 12 stack, which is very strong. Wow, 1 energy do like 100 damage. That's why I think Bird very strong, right? 1 energy, because of these stacks, right, just deals so much more. Yeah, I think Birds is gonna be pretty strong, especially at this kind of scenario. 16 stacks already, 20 is the maximum. I would say still very close, but it's just not quite enough, right? You can see it's just a bit off. Yeah, but still, I mean, King could have gone either way in that sense, because it just really depends on the card draw at this point. But yeah, so now you can see how good it. I think xxVila is pretty good at this kind of situation where you only have 1 Axie left, because before it's an AoE, now it's just randomly hits and it will actually deal 3 hits to the 1 Axie. So yeah, good to highlight the AoE build as well. That's it for day 1, so thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of mental analysis and team highlight.